and to be loved.
Our shooting script plan started off where we decided to shoot our first shot of the film, which was we planned to make it me walking into the house, who was the antagonist. The protagonist. We decided to use a Canon DSLR that a member of our group provided. This would be at my house, the location. Any special effects that we would be adding would be a colour correction to perhaps enhance the look of the film and make it perhaps more like a cinematic film, and we obviously added black bars to get a widescreen ratio of it. The audio that would be going on at that point would be just diegetic audio, perhaps some white noise of the scene itself, just to make it sort of natural feeling. The second shot of our film we decided to produce was again with a Canon DSLR. This would again be at my house, and we thought perhaps we could have a close-up of the phone of the protagonist looking through his phone, perhaps scrolling through, liking this girl's pictures. Then he receives a text from the girl who had been liking the pictures, which supports the backstory which we want to do. Any effects will be a colour correction on top of it, just again to make it look more cinematic, add black bars again to get a widescreen ratio, which is more stereotypical and conventional for a cinematic film. And the voiceover would be added on top of this of the girl who's texted him, so the audience have obviously got another way of looking at what's going on in the story rather than just looking visually at the text on the screen. The third shot we decided to do was a door slam where Matt walks down through the stairs and gets on his coat and gets ready to leave the house. He then leaves the house and the door slams. This again will be filmed on a Canon DSLR. The location would be again at my house, and special effects would be a lighting adjustment, because obviously with the light coming through the window of the door, this could distort the shot a little bit, so we'd have to adjust the lighting perhaps down a little bit so we can get more clarity in the shot. And the audio would be an amplified loud door sound as he shuts the door to sort of perhaps make the audience jump a little bit and get the flow of a horror film more natural, coming into more of the shots as the opening sequence develops. The fourth shot that we decided to perhaps make was a POV shot. We think this would work quite nicely going with a horror film. The POV would be of the antagonist looking out of the window. The camera that we'd use is a GoPro, which is different to the Canon DSLRs we normally use in these shots, because obviously it's a GoPro, they're good at POV action shots, and that's what we're going to produce in this shot. The location would be at my house, looking through the curtains at Matt outside walking down the road. Special effects would be a dark vignette to show that there's a new perspective looking at Matt, and the audio would be a distorted sort of noise that we'd use sort of by reversing a soundtrack, perhaps by making it sort of sound VHS-like, and that would conclude the full shot that we decided to do, hopefully. The fifth shot, we decided to use a new location, which is in the woods. We'd be using a Canon DSLR, and we'd be taking establishing shots of the environment to build up the pace and build up the suspense before the action shots start coming in. So we'd be using slow-paced editing, and special effects would just be a colour correction, making it seem cinematic, like the first two shots that we filmed. Black bars, like all of the other clips, to get a widescreen ratio, which is more conventional to a cinema film, and just diegetic audio really for that scene, just the natural sounds of the forest. The sixth shot of the opening sequence, we hopefully decide to make some jump cuts of the antagonist getting closer and closer to Matt, and the special effects, we do some cut to blacks in the post-production, so it's sort of, she's there, cuts to black, then she gets closer to the protagonist, then she's there, then she cuts to black, then she gets closer to him. So sort of same sort of repetitive sequence, but it would sort of work quite well with especially the audio, which we plan to use some deep bass drones underneath it. And that would be located in the woods too, which we filmed on a Sony DSLR. The seventh sort of set of shots we decided to do is a tracking shot, which we'll be using a DSLR, again the Canon one that the group provides, in the woods. We just want a sort of POV tracking shot where the antagonist follows the character down the path along the woods. Special lighting effects would be vignette to obviously replicate what we did in the full shot of the POV looking through the window, which suggests it's a new perspective. And the audio for that would be some more small bass drones but less audio, and sort of distorted noises like again we did on the POV to keep up the continuity of the new perspective and the different character.